I'm gonna save that segment for next week. I'll call it "Pestering Pete"
Hmm.
or Rezo as Pete, a series of either on brand or equally unhinged questions. All
Do you
right,
have a list of questions prepared for that?
I do. I have about 15.
Hmm. Hmm.
They were originally written for you, but I didn't make the question super duper specific to like an
Mm-hmm.
individual. I just kind of made them questions that fit the kind of shit you'd expect me to ask a guest or a co-host. So equally on brand and unhinged, both in equal measure.
Unhinge.
Unhinged. What else would you possibly expect from a man of my talents? Exactly. Exactly. You don't expect it. It's fun. I understand. It's fine. I got it. It's all good. Nothing to worry about, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be fine. Goodness sakes. All right. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you prepared? Are you ready for today's show, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you are. It's about to be a doozy. It's about to be a fucking doozy. I'm ready. Whether you are or not, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you are and whether you are not. Oh, goodness. It's been. Actually, it hasn't really been much of a week, to be honest with you. It's been a very boring week for me personally.
Hmm.
Yeah, really boring week. Really mundane. Nothing really interesting to speak of. Nothing came out this week, at least not for me.
Hmm.
you know, my limited scope of video games I buy these days. I only got a couple things coming out. The Pixel remasters come out this week though. That makes me happy. I could pick up six
Ah.
and five.
Mm-hmm. The console versions.
I
Mm-hmm.
could pick up 6 and 5, and that's the only ones I'm picking up. I'm not picking up any others. I don't give a shit about 1 through 3. I've played way
Mm-hmm.
too much of 4. 5 and 6 though. I
Mm.
can uh I can jam with that. So
Some Capcom fans have certainly been happy this week. The
mm,
Battle Network collection came out.
oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd only have an interest in the first set. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think the first set is the only ones that are like actual campaign modes. The rest of them are all kind of weird battle-y kind of games. The first set has like the actual storylines and stuff. I only played
Mm-hmm.
Battle Network 2, and I thought that was pretty cool as a kid. Didn't finish it
Mm-hmm.
because I think towards the end it requires you to have a very particular network chip of a very
Mm-hmm.
particular number in order to access one of the areas. And I got to that point, got walled, and said, "Well, guess I'm playing something else. Not putting time into this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I
Interesting.
got I got other things to do. I got other games to play. Other games I'm never gonna actually beat. It's fine." I booted up not Crisis Core. Fuck Crisis Core. I'm still working on Crisis Core. Still playing Crisis Core. I booted up
Mm-hmm.
Remake and started recording that because I wanted
Ah.
something to do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been fun. Remake is so good, makes me happy. I didn't play much of it on PS4 because the PS5 version is fucking nice. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
doors have textures. CD, believe that? Doors have
Mm.
textures.
Yeah.
Tifa still looks good. What?
Yeah, they did some nice improvements with that integrate version. Mhm.
Again, I was surprised, one, that they did an intergrade version when they
Mm-hmm.
released it. And then they're like, oh, we're just releasing an entirely new piece of content, too. This entirely
Mm-hmm.
new piece of content. And the thing is, Crisis Core is so fun for me because Crisis Core has all these little narrative bits, extra bits within the game you can find that like hint at Final Fantasy VII, that are like
Mm-hmm.
preluding to Final Fantasy VII. There's one about the space program that Shinra's starting. And if you've played 7, you know that Sid Highwind is the one who initially is the one who is the head of the space program to fly
Mm-hmm.
the rocket ship into space. And he's mentioned by name as being the one who's going to be heading up that project.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, oh, nice. Good for you, Sid. I'm sure you'll get to outer space.
Yeah, it helps to put these hints into a game that you make after the one that's being hinted at.
Yeah, there's all these little hints and stuff that I'm like, you didn't have to have that Easter egg in there. That's
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And I
Mm-hmm.
like it. Fantastic. I'm sure Sid gets to outer space. I'm sure of it. Sure
Of
this
course.
I'm sure this space program doesn't go up in flames
Ah.
and cause Sid. The game makes fun of Sid for being an old man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how old Sid is in Final Fantasy
Mm.
VII? Like the baseline
Not off the
Final?
top of my head. Nope.
Not top of your head? 36.
Hmm.
He gets called an old man a lot. A bow-legged old man, if I may say so myself. Because
Mm-hmm.
Yuffie calls him that, depending on when you meet her. She calls him a bow-legged old man. And I had never considered how old he'd have to be, because I was like, oh. Because he has, like, gray hair and shit. So I'm like, oh, yeah, Sid,
Mm-hmm.
he's a fucking old guy. He's a little on the older side.
Hmm.
Actually, no, he is not that old. I said 36, right? No, he's not
Mm-hmm.
36. No, I'm older than he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's 32 at the time of Final Fantasy
Huh.
VII.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that fits right in with the usual trope of in JRPGs, you often have usually very young characters, and then you have a moderately aged character, and he's immediately the old guy.
Yeah, yeah. You're right.
Same with
Yeah,
Graces, for example. The
yeah,
Asbel's ex-commander, he's constantly called old.
yeah. And he's really not. He's really not like
Mm,
that old in
yeah.
retrospect. Yeah,
Zilia had it surprisingly fitting because the butler really was old. But most of the time, it is like, yeah, you have a character that's maybe 10 years, 20 years older than the rest. And yeah, he's always called really the old guy.
Yeah, they call him the old guy, which I'm like, what? And I look it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's 32 in Final Fantasy VII, 34 in Crisis Core, and like
Mm.
37 in Dirge Cerberus. I mean, 35 in Dirge Cerberus.
I mean, how old is Yuffie in that game?
And 7?
Mm-hmm.
16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is about what I figured. So no wonder he's double her age. Of course, she calls him old.
Yeah, of course she called him a bow-legged old man. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Yeah, I had never really thought about it like that. There's an entire quest line in Crisis Core where she keeps fucking with Zack.
Mm-hmm.
Like this massive quest line you go on, and I'm like, this chick is ridiculous. And you're actually, and the quest line ends, and it tells you that you don't end up seeing Yuffie again, but you hear stories about her going on to steal materia from people, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, whoops. Uh, well,
The Robin Hood of materia.
I'm sure. I'm sure this won't come back and bite me in the ass later. I'm sure this
Nah.
is fine. Sure, this is fine. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong here. But yeah, I've been digging it, and playing Seven Remake is gonna
Cool.
be a lot of fun because I need to actually like beat that fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, I've had that game on my shelf for so fucking long.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Well, this way you'll at least finish it before the second part comes out.
Oh yeah, you're. Oh God. Oh God. There's a second part. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Never ends, does it? It doesn't never end. The
It'll take a while.
release, the release cycle just never ends. There's always something else I have to beat. Other than that, I don't have a lot going for me. I've been
Mm-hmm.
taking it easy and just getting videos done as I have to. That's really the most I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I got to get a video done for tomorrow. I record one video, edit one video, upload one video.
Mm.
Well,
That's you done for the day.
man, clock it out early, boys. Woo! Woo! Put that work in. Good shit. Good shit. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. I've been putting in my work, then clock it out and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. Right. For me, game-wise, it's mainly been continuing Path of Exile. And distinctly not going with a guide. I just had a look if some variation of the class I'm playing uses a similar set of skills. And there was one, but I only took a few hints of that because most of the setup was dissimilar, like different class ascension. You can, after a while, beat a labyrinth that enables you to unlock class specifications like you go with a ranger and then you get either stuff that focuses on the flasks that you can carry around, like your health potions and stuff like that. And there are several variations of potions that you can find. Like one of the class specializations is specifically for that. One has essentially a permanent phasing mode on, which increases the evasion rate of the class by, I think, what was it, 20 or 40%? It's a significant increase. So, and I went with that one, which means things don't hit me that often, but since the build is a bit squishy, I still have to be careful. But that makes it pretty easy. And I'm still going around just essentially poisoning enemies and letting that do the work.
Right, right. You're smart.
Only now I'm not simply just firing the arrows myself, but I'm additionally also placing ballista totems down, which do that as well. So essentially, I'm running around placing those ballistas, and there's poison arrows all over the place. Which is, yeah. Most of the time it's fun. And at some point in a few acts before where I am now, which I've reached Act 9 now, which is I think the previous to last or something like that. I think there's 10 or 11, I'm not sure which one. And I'm now in 9, so in about a few of the acts before were a bit meh, because the boss fights had pretty small arenas, so as the fight progresses, you're essentially really just running around and trying to find some small spot where you can be. and don't get hurt by whatever's on the floor or going around, which yeah. And since I'm pretty squishy, that turned kind of into a grind, like go in there, do some damage, get killed, respawn at the door, go in there again, and rinse and repeat until that's done. And a few of the boss fights are like that, which not the greatest design in my opinion. And yeah, obviously the whole flexibility of the skill setups and all means if you're not going strictly with a guide, a lot of the builds can turn out that way, which is a bit of a negative on the side of the game.
So, are you saying that like the game, like building something yourself, may not always be the most optimal? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like even your best judgment, like even you building a character, picking skills with your best judgment, you'll still end up fairly suboptimal in the long run. Because I feel
it can happen, yes.
Oh wow. Because I feel like most players with good judgment would end up with a fairly decent build. Like,
yeah. The thing is, they can be decent, but you can still have a few areas where you're not that good. Like, for example, resistances to certain stuff, or maybe you don't have specific things against bleeding effect or stuff like that.
Is that just due to like? Because I could see I could see the guide thing making sense if you've never played the game before. But I feel like if you've already been through the rigmarole a few times, like per season, like a few times, like a few seasons, I feel like by the time you get to like your third season playing the fucking video game, you'd be like, all right, here's what I'm expecting. Here's how the game goes. I'll build this way, but again, you pick something different almost every time. So at that point, it's like, well, I'm picking this particular kind of character. Gotta hope I got what I got to win. Gotta build my character the best I can, I guess. Hope for the best. Yep. Is that am I reading the room wrong on that?
It always depends, because while most of the time it can work out decently, depending on which boss you fight or which enemies you get, it can be just like, okay, this enemy is, in my case, for example, an enemy is resistant to poison or damage over time. So that one takes a long time to do. And then you have the combination of me being pretty squishy and maybe I don't have specific items to counteract stuff like that, because that's also a thing that can have a big impact if you have the right items, because there are quite a few specific items that you have to find, and obviously loot can only get you so far in that regard if you don't farm specific stuff. So it depends on if you go to pay the trade market, because that's not in the game. You have to go, I think it's on the Path of Exile homepage. There's an area where you can see current trade stuff, and if you find items there that you need, you can relatively easily get them. You message the person, you get the code, the copy paste from the site, put it into your chat, which then messages the guy that wants to sell the stuff, and then you get a party invitation. You go into a one of the bases where you're both there then, and then you quickly trade, and then that's done. So that's, while the game itself doesn't have a sort of an auction house or stuff like that, it's a decent way to do it with additional resources on the homepage of the game. And
Okay.
if you don't do that, then yeah, some items are pretty hard to find for beginners. Because some you only get either later in the game or they get farmed better in the end game or stuff like that.
My favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite. You know, you bring up the end game thing. That brings up like a video idea I was gonna do. It was going to be something called like 5 things you shouldn't do as a JRPG content creator, and they were specifically are about Let's Plays. And I was in the shower, you know, because these ideas only happen to you.
Shower thoughts, the usual.
Right,
Yeah.
right. When you're in the shower, they don't happen to you during any other time. You don't have these thoughts anywhere else. It's only it's in the shower when the water is 127 degrees. Your skin is
And
being
you're
melted.
completely fogged in.
Yeah, your skin's being melted off of your body. And one of the things that crossed my mind when I'm thinking about this is one of them was like, don't save all the work till the end. Because oftentimes, and I'm guilty of doing this back in the day, oftentimes the logical thought is you play the game, right? You get just up to the point of no return, and then you do all that content, right?
All the backtracking stuff, get all the items that you need and all that.
You do all that content. And do you know what happens to like 80% of people who let's play and then do it that way? They burn the fuck out. I've seen it. They burn the fuck out. And like, why wouldn't you? That's a lot of content. Like, take any RPG, get to the point of just before the point of no return, and then go back and do everything else you got to do. That's hours of work. Of course you're gonna burn the fuck out.
Probably better to just go bit by bit.
Yeah, that's where I adopted my mentality these days of like, don't wait. If I can do it now and it's not gonna inconvenience the shit out of me to do it, fuck it, do it now. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go back and spend.
If you're the right level, that should be fine, and it might even help you along the way.
Yeah, like I said, if it's not too inconvenient to do it, because I acknowledge there's some content that's like you want to do it early, but like the cost and the effort to do it early just isn't fucking worth it. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not getting that done. I'm not completing that content. Nope. Shit's going uncompleted till the end game, baby. Can't do that shit now.
Yeah,
So,
and
like,
some things are distinctly like that you can't exactly do them right away because they're, for example, too high level or something. So you unlock it now, but it shows you, okay, that's a challenge. If you want to do it now, your chances are low. If you wait till later, it's gonna be more easy.
I could probably get it done. Or if it's if it's Chrono Trigger, it's I just don't have the means to go to that place and do it right now. Well, guess I'll wait that one out. Because I was sitting there and I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of shit I had to learn not to do just because if you do it, it makes your life. And a lot of these things aren't even like, they're not complicated, but they're just things that you just kind of pick up as you go. Like I said, do shit as soon as possible. Don't. One of the big ones is don't pick a game you're not gonna have fun with. I know that sounds obvious. I know. I know. But you have no idea.
For many people, they probably choose, okay, what's popular?
Yeah, they pick an RPG that's fucking popular. And that's not a bad idea. But
generally, yes, but but if you don't have any fun with it, that's gonna show in your Let's Play.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
People are gonna notice, and they're not gonna watch that.
Yeah, if you're not gonna have fun with it. 3, know your limits. look, I know
Mhm.
this is gonna sound crazy, coming from a guy who plays JRPGs specifically. I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but know what your
Mhm.
limits are. All right, there's a big difference between me dedicating 60 hours to Final Fantasy VII and
Mhm.
dedicating 150 hours to Persona 5. Two very
Mhm.
different levels of dedication here.
Yeah,
One, I can get
those are.
done in like 3 months, 4 months.
Mhm.
The other one, it takes me well over a year to finish just because of everything I have to do. Two very
Mhm.
different, and that's the problem. People don't think about that, right? They're just like, oh,
Yeah.
well, because a lot of it is people tend to think that they can apply the same editing mindset to like every game, but you
Mhm.
can't. The editing mindset you have to kind of adjust per game because there's some games where like yeah, editing out certain things kind of makes sense.
Mhm.
It's like Final Fantasy VIII back in the day. I used to edit out any time I had to go into the menu and mess with the
Mhm.
junction system. So I would
Mhm.
edit that out specifically because I would be in that junction menu for 10, 15, or even 20 minutes at a time. I'd
Mhm.
be in that
Yeah, that's
bitch
no fun to
for
look
a
at.
while. But you know what happened, CD?
Mhm.
Do you know what happened? You
Mhm.
I started receiving comments in
Mhm.
mass asking me, why don't I show that? I want to see what your setup is.
Hmm.
Why don't you show it? So then I'm like, well, because it's
Mhm.
20 to 30 minutes of me fucking in menus. I don't really think
Mhm.
anybody wants to see that.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess maybe you could show something short, like, okay, I changed my
I
setup to
did.
this.
When I
Mhm.
came back, I
Yeah.
don't I didn't fuck with the menus as often, or I would fuck
Mhm.
with the menus before I would do a video. That was the
Mhm.
optimum time. So like before I do the video, I go in the
Mhm.
menu, I fuck with my
As long
menus.
as long as you don't need to change that during that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
you can't apply like when I initially was going to do Persona 5, I was going to cut out
Mhm.
the majority of stuff in
Mhm.
between the important segments. But then I
Mhm.
realized the core of Persona is that in between stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that in between stuff I was so doggedly devoted to the idea of cutting out.
Mhm.
That's the good stuff. That's the
Mhm.
content. And then I'm like, I can't edit that out. That there's good stuff there. I need that. That has to be there.
Mhm.
You can't apply the same editing strategy to every
Mhm.
game because you're gonna run into a situation where you're gonna edit shit out and then realize like 2 or 3 weeks in, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't get rid of that content. Maybe
Mhm.
that content's actually worth seeing. Maybe people want to see that shit. Maybe I should
Mhm.
leave it in, see how the video flows for a few videos, and then choose to edit it out. So I can at least get an idea if it's a good idea or not. Then
Mhm.
go from there. Turns out video creation is not a committee by numbers. It's more of
It's
a
not one size fits all.
no. If it was one size fits all,
Mhm.
fuck man, I wouldn't be putting half as much effort into thinking about this shit as I already do. Should be easy.
Mhm. Yeah, even though Final Fantasy and Persona essentially both JRPGs, they're two totally different beasts of JRPG.
Yeah, there's a giant delta between doing
Mhm.
a Final Fantasy game or a Persona game or doing a Final
Yeah.
Fantasy game and a Dragon Quest game. Dragon Quest
Mhm.
11 was a very different experience to do that game just because some of the content I probably could have cut out, but I enjoyed a lot of that menial content
Mhm.
such as crafting items. I enjoyed the crafting mini game, so fucking sue me. So anytime I got a new crafting thing, I would be like, I guess I'm making this now, boys and girls. Let's go. It's time to make an
Just get
item,
out that
bitch.
hammer. Bonk.
Time to make these items. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
it's
And especially nowadays, the delta has increased by a lot. Looking at you, Devil May Cry 16.
Yeah.
Have you seen the newest video material there?
I'm sorry, what?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they did at the State of Play. They did show 20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, I saw a bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
It's partly, it's unashamedly Devil May Cry. The
yeah,
way they're setting it up, and honestly, it looks really good.
They've really leaned in to like
Mm-hmm.
the action bit, which I don't
Oh, yeah.
blame them because I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed a lot of the more actiony combat from Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
I also really enjoyed like seeing Noctis like run up, vault over Ignis's back, and then kick someone in the face. I thought that was funny. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like and Prompto's like,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Fucking nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it looks really good.
I mean,
Certainly, as soon as it comes out on PC, I'm certainly gonna pick it up.
do you think that JRPGs are gonna mostly make that transition to action? Because that's been a big talking point now with 16
I'm not sure.
really moving hardcore to action. Final Fantasy is a pretty big staple. So like
Yeah, although Dragon Quest is also a really big staple, even more so in Japan. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with 12, because they did say that they're changing things. I wonder how. They didn't say anything about how they're gonna change it, and I don't think they're gonna go the real-time thing. I think they're probably still gonna go turn-based there, but they are gonna revamp it from how I understood the statement. But it's been a pretty big vague statement, so we're gonna have to wait and see, and that's still gonna take some time.
I can't imagine. I feel like once Dragon Quest makes that transition to being an action RPG, I feel like at that point we're gonna see most of these games make that.
And the big ones are certainly. I think there's still gonna be more than enough of both kinds, but yeah, the big ones certainly have transitioned there into that direction. But I don't think the turn-based style is gonna die out anytime soon. There's more than enough smaller to medium-sized games being developed. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the Trails of franchise is not gonna.
For example, that's probably not gonna change all that much.
I'm sure they're not gonna possibly make that decision.
And this game is probably also never gonna be real time, so there's also that.
Yeah, I hope. Oh.
That would be interesting. Real time tactics, Disgaea Commandos. Nah, I think there's still definitely gonna be more than enough turn-based stuff around. But gonna be interesting to see how the whole thing develops.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna pick up 16 immediately. I haven't it's not out of lack of interest for that I haven't been checking it out, because it's more of the things I want to know. They're not telling me. They're not showing me some of the meat and potatoes that I'm really interested in. I want more system mechanics. I want the nuts and bolts. I want to know what gear. I want to know like skill trees and like shit I can grind.
They did show a little of that.
I didn't look that closely. All I've really have seen.
It wasn't a detailed explanation, but that did show the skill tree stuff, or rather the skill choices where you can put the points in. But they didn't show a detailed list of what's gonna be there or something like that.
Yeah,
But it's gonna be quite a few different things there from what I've seen.
I want the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I want the
Yeah.
I want the tasty gristle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and from how I interpret what they've shown so far, I'm pretty sure they're gonna unlock that as you get more of the icons. Would be my guess.
Okay. All right. I dig it.
Hmm. Yeah, and also nice Panzer Dragoon fight in there.
Yeah, dude. Everything I've seen for this fucking game, I'm like, oh wow, they just cranked this shit to 11, didn't they? Damn. I guess it's safe to say they probably learned whatever lessons they needed to learn from Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, one being that they gonna just get the guy from Capcom, yoink the Devil May Cry battle designer, and go from there.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, and it shows.
Yeah, I hadn't really considered the Devil May Cry likeness until you brought it up, and now you brought it up. Yeah, no, I fucking see it. I fucking see it. It is right in your face, my friend. It is right in your face. Yep. All right. Now, so did you have anything else before I pick up with the first story?
No. It can go to the.
All right. All right. So, I'm not picking the first story that you put down. I'm picking the second one that you put down.
All right.
So, Redfall has been a game that's been in and out the news the last couple of weeks.
Months or whatever.
Months.
It's been quite a while.
It was a single player game, and then they're like,
always online.
It's always online, and people are like, what? And then all these different things about this fucking video game keep coming to light, and then keep getting pulled back, and then keep coming back, and it's like we can't. It's like you can't get excited for this fucking thing. I mean, I wasn't even really interested in it, but I could see how if you could have been interested for this game, it'd be really hard to keep your interest going with all the constant shit about this game just coming out. So, all Arcane had to do, CD, was release some gameplay. Get this game, get this game into the hands of the media. Let's get some gameplay.
Which they did.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I promise. I'm getting there. Get this game out into the hands of the media and show people the fucking video game.
Oh boy, did they.
Oh dear God. They really.
Oh boy, did they.
They really showed us the fucking gameplay. IGN, to really hammer this home, we're going to be talking about IGN in particular, because they are the guilty party here. And then we'll segue into the article that we're going to be talking about. So IGN posted multiple, like, it was 3 minutes.
It was an IGN first video with a boss fight in co-op.
In co-op. And oh boy. People gave that guy shit for not being able to pass the tutorial at Cuphead, and I've always felt like that might have been going a little too far. He wasn't even really someone you should really be critiquing that hard. This gameplay, oh goodness,
it reminded me of the Doom 2016 gameplay from Polygon, I think.
Oh yeah. This gameplay was bad.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even mean the video quality. I mean the guy, whoever was playing this game.
Yeah.
Was You really
He
picked
did
us.
not do well.
You picked a special breed for this one.
Mm.
The within the first couple hours of this video going live, the internet had essentially dissected the video and was like, wait a minute, why did you run away from combat? Why don't you finish off enemies? Why are you doing this when the rest of your team is getting killed by the boss? Why aren't you helping kill the boss? Why aren't you pushing objectives? Why aren't you doing this? Why the fuck do you...
Why aren't you actually using the things that you can do in the game?
Yeah. The video was also like really edited, like heavily edited. Like they heavily edited this fucking video. Which, by the way,
there are transitions there that have no reason.
Which, by the way, as a content creator and a video game content creator of sorts, if you have to edit your own fucking gameplay that often with that much frequency, with that many cuts and edits, my nigga, just do the shit again. Just do it. Just do it again. Don't upload, like, bro, this was some Retsu Prey 2009 shit. Like, don't upload, just do it again. Like, guys, did we not learn anything from something awful?
Apparently not.
Okay, yeah, clearly. So yeah, it is hard to look at. I feel bad. I honestly feel bad that I want to just make note. It was only IGN that had this level of bad.
I mean, I think they're the only ones that had access to the game at
Young
this
Yeah
point.
mentioned another place that had gameplay, or some other creator that had access to it and also had uploaded gameplay, and their gameplay was substantially better. But
interesting, because IGN first usually means that they have first dibs on releasing stuff like that. So
unsure. Maybe IGN uploaded it.
Maybe it was a specific version, or maybe the boss fight was only for them, and the other guy had other stuff. That's possible.
So there was an article on automation-media.com. And the article name, and just translated, the media's pre-play footage.
And automation media is the automation media veracity in gaming. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, a little bit.
Automaton. It makes me think of stuff like Atomic Heart, which they currently have as an advertisement on there.
The media's pre-play footage of the highly anticipated cooperative shooter Redfall has been criticized for being poor. Does the image bring out the charm of the game? Oh, now that was translated.
This all is translated by Google. This is originally a Japanese.
One of the things I really enjoy in this article was, furthermore, in the video. Where is it? Okay, sure. It's pretty clumsy, but it's better than playing Cuphead or Doom 2016, which had been criticized for posting gameplay footage in the media in the past. I understand the rules of the game. I can play the bare minimum. So why is it so criticized? Well, I didn't jump into this the way I usually do, because I kind of wanted to get some consensus here, so I started looking at comment sections and shit on other places concerning this particular question. And there are a lot of people who say something along the lines of, well, it's no surprise, they get paid to write about games, not play them.
Well, now, they should have a decent quality of gaming. Well, they should be able to decently play the game as well.
You would think.
I get that you're not instantly good at any game that you just start out at, but if you don't know the game yet, don't just record your first game session and be done with it. Train a little.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I could deal with the notion of, like, you got to get good,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are very few games I play that I've never played before that I am instantly great at the second I start.
Mm-hmm.
Very few.
Mm.
You have to try and
Yeah.
practice and learn the
Mm-hmm.
mechanics. So maybe they were in a rush.
Probably.
Maybe this was one of those Konami style situations where the devs are right over their shoulders as they're playing the fucking video game, and they have to play it and they have to do it a certain way, and the devs are breathing down their shoulders the entire time. You heard about like Phantom Pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, I
the
heard that.
the
But
the,
that
the
would be weird because those devs then would see directly how badly he's playing. And if they want to have the game shown, they'd make sure that they'd take note of how badly he's playing, and they wouldn't want that released.
yeah, they'd be like, bro, you trash.
Eh,
Bro,
Try again, please.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
delete this recording. Just delete this.
just practice, my guy. Here, just try again.
Yeah, yeah. I'll reset the
Fucking
game for you. Click.
yeah. Here, try again. So like I feel like every time one of these sites shows really poor gameplay, it always brings
Mm-hmm.
up this notion of, do these individuals have the is the onus on them to at least be okay at the medium that they are in fact recording, that the medium that they are in fact reporting. Because
I'd
unlike
say they
because
should at
like
least be competent enough.
right, but like movie reviewers don't make fucking movies, right? So we wouldn't expect them to sit there and film a fucking movie. That's usually the logic I get, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah, but we're
oh,
not expecting them to make the game.
we're not
We're expecting them to
expecting.
play the game, just like everyone else.
Yeah, like I get that a lot where I'm like, yeah, they should be able to play it, and they're like, yeah, but you wouldn't expect a movie reviewer to go out making movies. I'm like, that would probably help
Yeah,
his reviews if he was someone who had an interest in creating film. That would
it would help the
probably help.
reviews. Yeah, but yeah, it's not necessarily required. But yeah, it would help potentially. But I wouldn't require anyone reviewing movies to be able to make movies. I would expect them to have knowledge about movies.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you can read up on movies or techniques that movies use, specific camera techniques, and stuff like that. You don't have to do that yourself. You can know about it, notice it in the movie, and then write about it. In games, I'd say it helps to have made your own games to notice stuff. But if you're competent enough at a game, you can play it. You know things about game design, even if you haven't made them. You can still notice what is good about it, what isn't. You don't have to have made games. You just have to be decently competent at them.
yeah,
I'm not
because
expecting speedrunner or professional
yeah,
gameplay out of these people.
because bare minimum, I would
Hmm.
expect the people writing these fucking articles to like play video games. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
even saying like a lot. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
fucking you pick up a Switch once in a while and play Mario. I don't fucking know. I don't even really care. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. But
I know that a lot of time is spent on writing the article and thinking about the review and all that. So obviously, it's not like they're playing games all the time,
I
uh,
wouldn't expect them to be.
but they'd have a decent amount of time under their belt, usually.
Yeah, I'd
So
imagine.
yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's too far from. But we run into this wall every time shit like this
Mm-hmm.
happens, where it's like, it's like all gamers are doing is just trying to gatekeep people out of gaming by requiring a certain skill level. I'm not requiring that you're a fucking pro. I'm requiring that if your job at that point in time is to record press footage for a fucking video game, I would expect bare minimum that you don't put on a bad show. Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Or if by some weird chance that you just can't get over the skill hump, it happens. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
I do. If you can't get over the skill hump, I don't know, fucking ask the devs for some fucking footage. I'm sure they have plenty of it. I'm sure the devs can get you footage of some
or
games.
have the footage recorded by a colleague of yours, because I'm sure you're not the only one working at that outlet.
Yeah.
And I mean, IGN should have a few people, so if they know, yeah, this needs someone competent at shooters and with co-op, and yeah, we know who's good at them, so we're gonna send him or her, whatever.
Yeah,
but
that doesn't seem very difficult to accomplish. So
yeah, and personally, I'm only gatekeeping in so far that if you put out trash material, don't expect to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out, my dude.
Put out competent quality material, I'm gonna take you seriously.
Yeah,
unless you do that, nah, you're not entitled to being taken seriously.
Yeah, I don't have my taking you seriously is not a given. You know, this is a give and take relationship. You're taking up my time. The least you could do is give me something of quality. I don't really think that is much to ask for. But as always, this conversation, every time it comes up, it boils down to, you know, gamers have unrealistic expectations of people. But once again, I would just like to point out, for people who hold this ridiculously stupid belief, just in case you were under the delusion, all right? What do we call these individuals? They are called professional games journalists. Now, you could argue it's journalist, not pro gamer. I would make the argument that a qualification for being a professional games journalist is at least playing video games. I don't really feel like that's an unreasonable expectation.
Yeah, like, and then they're gonna hit you with, yeah, the definition of professional is just getting money for it.
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah, I understand what you mean. Definitely.
I don't care. No.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick and choose. Like, that's not how this works. There is a certain amount of assumed competency that comes with the position when you work at IGN. My bad for assuming that you would at least be, I won't say good. Let's not even say good. Let's just say passable. We'll say fucking passable, because God forbid they actually put some effort in. Just saying. You know, we're past the days of expecting these people. We're past days of expecting sites to finish games and to actually be able to see the full experience before they get a review. We're past that. Fuck it. All right, you whittle down public trust so much that we've just accepted that's not going to happen. I get it. All right, fine. You won that conceit. The least you could do is not record yourself being terrible. I don't really feel like that's asking a lot. Pro gamer, no. Average, bro, look, if this guy was just an average dude playing a fucking video game, this thing would have gone to the fucking moon view-wise. It would have been fantastic. Not even great, just fucking average.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. Sorry. can't fucking talk about Suicide Squad. How about that? Let's fucking talk about
Sure.
Suicide Squad. So, Suicide Squad, a game many people wish would just commit suicide by now and just be done with it. Is that too hyperbolic for you? Yeah, probably. You know, I would actually say that it would be harder for me to find things that people like about this game and through all of its reveals than it would be for me to say that to find things that people find negative about this game. There are not a lot of things about this game that people like. From the terrible UI that we keep on deciding with every time we have a live service game, which I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know why we have to go with this particular style of UI. They all fucking do it specifically for this kind of game. It's fucking infuriating. I feel bad for like UI designers who aren't in video games who see that shit. Ooh, man. I know what being triggered fucking feels like now, because that shit triggers me every time I fucking see it. So, okay. The state of play happened a while back. One of the state of plays happened a while back. And they showed it was a decent amount of it was dedicated to showing gameplay for Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And to say that gameplay reveal went over well, you know, wet fart in church. I'm just gonna say that it was a wet fart in church. Didn't go over well at all. Actually, went over pretty poorly. After that happened, they said that they were a little bit after they said they were going to delay the game. They didn't have a date yet, but they said that we're gonna take time to delay the game. Probably based
to improve on the stuff.
To improve on
stuff. Very likely based on the initial reactions.
Yeah, the initial reaction was to put charitably, dumpster fire?
Yeah, something like that.
Dumpster. Bethesda somewhere between Bethesda dumpster fire and Telltale getting rid of all their employees. Somewhere in between there. Not quite.
Yeah, it was about the average, like that crusty gif, like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, it was somewhere in between there. It was a real nightmare hellscape of a fucking gameplay reveal. So recently, they announced that they were going to be pushing the game back from being unannounced to being to now having a release date of February 2nd, 2024. That is a fucking pushback.
That's a nice chunk of a pushback, yeah.
That's a pushback. That is somebody might lose their job over this one. I feel like there's somebody who got chewed the fuck out about this one. Now,
somebody had a date with that shark.
We have made the tough but necessary decision to take the time needed to work on getting the game to be the best quality experience for players. Okay.
Rocksteady looking kind of unsteady.
Yeah, I'd say so. Fuck, I can't remember. Which game? Was it Redfall that was like... It was Redfall is the one that isn't going to have 60 FPS until like a later... Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Redfall. Redfall is the one that's going to not have performance mode until post-launch, which is...
Yeah, on Xbox certainly.
Absurd to me, but okay, fair enough.
I think that was mainly on Xbox. I think.
Yeah, so whatever.
And that we had that with Gotham Knights before, where it was strictly just 30 FPS.
And they didn't even announce that public. They put that on like their Discord. That was like on a
Something like that,
that was
yeah.
like on a Discord that they announced that little fucking gem. So they're pushing the game back, and
Mm-hmm.
pundits and journalists alike from all sectors of the gaming sphere have made a couple things very clear about this pushback.
Mm-hmm.
One, this is not enough time for anything super duper drastic to be done.
Yeah.
So don't count on this
This is
fixing.
not going to be a completely different game when it releases. No.
Yeah, don't count on this fixing the game drastically.
Mhm.
Um,
My guess is they're gonna probably use this to add new moves to each character to make the gameplay a bit more varied. Would be my guess.
yeah, I hadn't thought about that
Which
actually.
which uh, which is, for example, what's the whatever the shark character is called.
Uh,
That he
Killer
definitely
Shark.
needs that. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely needs that because main thing he was doing was punch stuff.
Yeah, that's not really Killer Shark's thing, but okay.
Would be my guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the character really or the Suicide Squad in general, but it really didn't look like anything more than just a baseline brawler stuff. So,
I feel
meh.
like this game is going to have as much impact as the Arkham game. That Batman that Batman game.
Yeah, which one of them?
Uh
Because the some of the Arkham games were really good.
no, like the most
Oh,
recent one.
do you
The
mean the
one
Gotham Knight? That's
yeah,
the Gotham Knights one, yeah.
yeah,
The non-Batman game.
I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is going to have
Yeah, probably.
as much like impact
Mm-hmm.
cuz you'll notice that game came out
Yeah.
and then people forgot it
It's
existed.
it's gonna hit you hard like a marshmallow.
Yeah, it's not going to have any impact.
Mm-hmm.
I just you
And this
know,
makes it about 2 years delayed from the original supposed launch in 2022.
they just can't get it together, can they? They just
Yeah,
cannot
it's
get
weird. Rocksteady isn't that bad of a studio, from what I
I don't
remember.
think I don't think a lot of this is rocks. I mean, it's easy to try to absolve a dev in these
Mm-hmm.
situations, and I
But the thing is, they are the ones that made the Arkham games before.
yeah.
So this really is. It's almost as if it's completely different people making the game,
I mean, it might be.
which might be possible. I mean, Arkham Knight was 2015, so since then, there's more than enough possibility for people being replaced and people moving from this studio to somewhere else.
I feel like we would have heard about that though.
Yeah, maybe. But you usually don't hear that if the regular devs go to different studios. You usually don't hear about that. You hear about the higher placed ones, but not the
Ah,
other people,
right. The people the yeah, but if enough people
the basic
leave,
workers. And if
that's
that
usually
changes a lot.
yeah. It's like yeah, one or two people leaving, you're not going to hear about it, but like you
Hmm.
talk about like 60 like 40 50 people in a span of a couple of months.
Yeah, if it's like that, then you usually hear about it. But given the time frame of several years, it could have been a slow change.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the working conditions during the game development. If they're bad, then although I haven't heard anything specific on that,
Yeah,
I
that's my
think.
thing. We haven't really
So
heard
it's
anything. So it puts
hmm
this game in a really weird spot with me where
yeah.
I'm like on one hand,
hmm Yeah, it might have been a problem of, obviously, since I think they originally planned this to be live service, but they didn't go live service in the final decision, I think. Or at least not with the usual live service stuff like Battle Pass and all that.
No,
So,
no,
mm,
CD, listen, my
mm-hmm,
guy, listen.
yeah.
You know I don't
Mm-hmm,
usually take the normal takes when it comes to these. You know what? The battle pass I'll
mm-hmm,
forgive. All right?
mm-hmm,
The fucking monetizable shit I forgive.
mm-hmm.
The fucking UI though. I'm a really need to find
Sure.
out who
But that's
I'm
why I mean they very likely originally definitely thought this gonna be a live service game, but given what the things how the things recently developed with live service games going down the drain, they probably decided last minute to change stuff, which that might have also played into the decision to delay it.
but like companies still keep doing this though.
Mhm.
So like is this live service thing like okay, all right. Yeah.
Mhm.
How many boats do you have to see get shot and
Mhm.
blown up on the sea before
Mhm.
you go, maybe I'll take a plane in the opposite direction?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That those big things just happened more recently, like with Avengers getting shut down soon, and Suicide and Gotham Knights just being a wet fart,
Yeah, it's
essentially.
like
So, and this is definitely in that ballpark of game. So they might have seen that and said, "Okay, maybe we should change things."
yeah, we gotta
And
change.
that, hmm,
Maybe they are just gonna change the UI. Maybe they actually caught on and realized that fucking UI
maybe.
is fucking ugly. But you know what? I
Not
think
getting my hopes up on that, but it might have played into the decision. We'll have to see
But you know what though?
if this ever releases.
The more I think about it, the more it starts to make
Mhm,
sense. You don't have to have a bunch of this market, this
mhm,
business. It's like it's almost speculative, right? You don't
mhm,
have to have a lot of successes for people to jump on board and fucking sink
mhm.
and drown. You just have
Yep.
to have like one or fucking two of them. That's it. You just
Mhm.
need one or fucking two of them to succeed to make everybody else jump on the fucking train
Yeah.
and crash and burn.
Mhm.
And what do
Yeah,
we
and
have?
we've
We
had
got
our few successes like Genshin Impact.
yeah, like yeah.
And that's a giant success.
That's a pretty. But Genshin Impact is also a really
Mhm.
solid game.
Yeah,
Aside from its live service, like it's a very
certainly is.
beefy piece of game.
Mhm.
Even putting
Yeah,
aside,
but the success of a game like that is gonna convince many people to go into that direction of live service stuff.
they just forget the content. They just
It's the same thing with back then with World of Warcraft, when that was so popular.
yeah, yeah,
MMOs came out sprang out like mushrooms and
yeah. Where are they
burned out
now?
quickly in the dozen.
Yeah, where the fuck are they now, huh?
They didn't last long.
yeah, most
Only
of
a
them.
few of them survived, but
Yeah,
many just gone.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of. I mean, I didn't have any expectations for this fucking video
Mm-mm.
game to begin with. To be
Nah,
honest, like
definitely not.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it 177.56% with you. There were no expectations for this game.
Yeah.
None
The
whatsoever.
only expectation of this game I have is it might release at some point.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think it'll release. I think
Hmm.
I don't think we're looking at a Beyond Good and Evil 2. I
Hmm.
think I
Yeah,
think
certainly not because we've seen a lot more of this game than that.
yeah,
This game is
we
this game has a game. while
Yeah.
Beyond and Good and Evil doesn't. So
We're
yeah.
fairly sure this game isn't a form of vaporware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Looking at
this was probably wasn't an Anthem trailer.
yeah, we're looking at you, Star Citizen.
Even Star Citizen is more of a game than Beyond Good and Evil too.
I don't like that you said that, but you're right. I don't like it though. I need you to really take
Mm-hmm.
that shit. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable to have to say that out loud. I'm not comfortable with that. That is not something
Beyond Star and Citizen.
I don't want to give Star Citizen that kind of credit. You can buy your digital ships for a game you don't even.
You can buy your JPEGs.
Yeah, you could buy your fucking ship NFT fucking speculative content before the game even comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
and boy, have people been buying it.
oh my god, that is such a tough pill for me to swallow. That's the crazy part. Like, it shouldn't be crazy to me because I should be used to people spending their money in stupid ways. Because God help me, I spend my money in increasingly stupid ways. All right, and I am a semi-functional adult, and I spend my money in stupid ways. But I see people spending money on non-existent ships in a game you can't even play yet, and I'm like, man, compared to you fuckers, I got my life together. This is fantastic. Holy shit! I don't like to compare myself to other people, but maybe I do have it more together than I thought. Just saying. Just saying, man. It makes me feel. I don't like to feel good at the cost of other people. That's not really. I don't like to put that kind of energy out there, but what one man's stupid decision.
There are exceptions to it, so yeah.
One man's stupid decision is another man's feeling of ethical superiority. And I am anything. I am everything if not superior. Ooh. Well, that's gonna be taken out of context one of these days, isn't it? Shit. Ooh.
Always. It's the internet, after all.
I'm gonna have to pay for that one. You know that, right? almost like that time with Soul during one of the shows where you were gone, where we were talking about like digital art and shit, and that whole ownership thing. And I said, and we were talking about how, like, if you stretch the definition of a word far enough, it loses all of its meaning. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, yeah, Soul. If you stretch the definition far enough, you can almost say that Google Pictures is Google Images is basically a community effort. Ooh, did not like that. That he was like, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not even having that conversation. It's a community effort. It's a community website. And he's like, I don't even want to even broach that shit. That is Pandora's box.
There's stretching and there's dissolving.
I've destroyed any definition you could possibly have. It's over. As always, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this lovely, lovely show. As always, we are available on a variety of different podcasting platforms, such as Apple, Spotify, and Google, for your ear listening pleasure. And if you're more of a visual human being, we also have our show available on YouTube, turn-based Cynics in video form every single week on Sunday without fail. Lest I eat a piece of footwear. Y'all know the drill. I ain't eating that shit. That's not happening. We're not doing that out here. We're not doing that out here. It's gonna be a busy rest of the year. I think we got a lot of games coming out, a A lot of juicy pieces of content about to hit people's consoles. The Switch is getting some juicy pieces of software very soon with Tears of the Kingdom. You know, Final Fantasy 16 is about to drop soon. We're going to be having that juicy piece of content across next-gen consoles and eventually PC at some point in the future.
Well, 16 is PS5 exclusive for now, so that's gonna be, I'd say, at least a year until it goes to PC.
Wait, is it really just PS5 exclusive?
Yep.
Really?
FF16 is PS5 exclusive. Sony paid for that.
Okay. I just assumed it was going to be PS5 and Xbox One X.
Nope. PS5.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Well, shit.
And the money that they gave them shows. I have to say.
Yeah, I'd agree. So there's a lot of juicy pieces of content out there, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of fantastic video games you can be out there playing right now. And I suggest you play them. I'm going to be playing some juicy video games. I got some games I still got to boot up and mess around with. So that's going to be cool because, you know, I play video games too. Sometimes I play them better than IGN.
What do you mean sometimes?
So you know what, CD? I'm okay with that. I don't have to be perfect all the time, baby. You know, sometimes I miss an input. It happens, all right? Sometimes I get too full of myself and I'm like, there's no way I can lose, and then I lose. So, you know, happens to the best of us. It's a part of life. In any case, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this wonderful episode. I think next week we're gonna have Pete on the show.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Hope you're all strapped in for that shit.
He is strapped in for that shit.
y'all know anytime Pete's on this fucking show, it's never a normal show. I can't have a normal episode if he's here.
I'm gonna have to prepare popcorn.
Yeah, it's never normal when Pete's here. I gotta mentally, physically, and spiritually prepare myself for whatever might come from having him on the show. In any case, everybody, I hope you all have a fantastic week. Keep on keeping on, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hour 17. Fucking did it.
Good.
Killing it. And I'm off on Tuesday, too, so I'm excited.
And we didn't even have to talk about how your mother is a fish.
Thank goodness. A victory. A true victory. A victory a man like myself can be proud of. I don't get many of those, CD, but when I get them, I get them.
Yeah, Twitch is just weird sometimes.
I don't, bruh, like, Twitch is.
We're gonna ban this person that we've used in our advertisement material in the past because of the username that she had when we used her.
I feel like Twitch. I think Twitch should be considered like a wildlife ecosystem.
The platform or the people employed there?
I'm actually really fucking grinding my gears on that one. Really thinking about that. No, because like the actual Twitch is a shady, fucking shadowy corporation that you can't get a hold of anybody. So I think the people who stream there would be the ones you'd want to And
Yeah.
I think there should be an appeal to like National Geographic to consider Twitch a a fundamentally wildlife ish thing that they should in fact cover and do documentaries
So
on.
so David Attenborough is gonna be making shows about Twitch streamers.
Bro, I'd watch that. Oh my god. Oh. Oh please. Please tell me. Please tell me that becomes oh my could you imagine a National Geographic documentary on Twitch with the same level of production as Earth? The documentary. Remember Earth, the documentary? Like that I want that. I want that level of scale and scope and just majesty. But for Twitch. I want that so bad. Oh my god. I would
Oh boy.
die. I would die a happy, happy man. But I do have something I want to ask you, actually,
Mm-hmm.
because I want something, but I wanted to ask somebody who maybe
Mm-hmm.
could kind of put some perspective before I buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you have one. So I want a smartwatch at some point, right? But my
Okay.
problem is I don't like work out and shit. So like
Mm-hmm.
the fitness aspect is kind of not there for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
just obviously saw you have one on your arm.
Yep.
So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what's the utility for you personally in having one? Like, is it a work? Well, you work out though, so maybe you probably use it for
It's
the.
both. It's workout for one, but on the other hand, I also use it to just instant. For one, I have my notifications on it, so I see messages it directly on it, and I've changed to just having my phone on vibrate, and I still notice everything when I get a call, for example. So I don't have to have it play loudly anywhere.
You see,
So I instantly
that.
notice everything there.
Thank you. Because
Mm-hmm.
my problem is I've been asking people that, right?
Mm-hmm.
People in my day to day life, and they look at me like I have a fucking second head.
Mm-hmm.
Like they look at me like what do you mean? It's a smartwatch, Mike. I thought you were
Mm-hmm.
tech savvy. I'm like, yeah, I am, but
Yeah, and the thing is, this isn't even a big smartwatch like one of the costly models.
mm-hmm.
That's the good thing about it. I don't need any of the advanced apps or anything like that. So I just got this, which costs. Let me just check. What's it for us currently? The current model is around $100, a
Okay.
bit more than $100.
I'm going
Which, for me, that's about the limit. I'm not prepared to pay 200 and upwards for a real full-featured smartwatch because I don't need those features.
there's a lot of features I'm interested in,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I also acknowledge that most smartwatches that like
Mm-hmm.
most smartwatches seem to all have the slant of health and fitness. Like when you see them pitch,
not the big smartwatches, not all that much.
when you see them
That's
pitch.
more like the fitness trackers.
Oh, really? You think so, huh?
Yeah, I think the big smartwatches. I'm not sure they have that slant because they mostly advertise with full featured apps on it and all those stuff. Yeah, obviously the whole fitness aspect is gonna be there as well.
Because
But
I want one for a lot of the same things that you just mentioned, because and also, all right, so I'm gonna out myself for a second.
mm-hmm.
Okay, believe it or not, tap to pay with my phone is like a big like I use it all the
Okay.
fucking time. It is like
Mhm.
the most convenient thing in the world for me. Like, oh my god.
Okay.
I didn't realize how much I use it till I had it.
Mhm.
And then once I had it, it is very hard for me to reach for a
Mhm.
card than just tap my
Okay.
phone if I'm already going to buy something. It's just it's convenience. So certain things like that, obviously notifications I can appreciate. This boils back
Yeah.
down to yeah, I might want to link that video to you about like the ecosystem, because like the concept of
Yeah.
like a smart ecosystem and just how like ridiculous it can be once you get sucked into an ecosystem. It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've never used tap to pay, but that one of the reasons I think is also because that's not really all that all that broadly available here.
Oh,
I think quite a
it's
few shops have it by now, but I think there's also still quite a few that don't.
most places. Most places I
Yeah,
go to.
for you, obviously in the US, that's far more
Oh,
far more
it is
widespread.
it is actually like really
Mm-hmm.
hard to find a place that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have it.
Yeah.
Like a few years ago, back when I used to work
Mm-hmm.
at back in like pre 2020, it was
Mm-hmm.
actually pretty. You weren't as many places, but these days, it's like
Mm-hmm.
anywhere I go, pretty much has it. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's
for us, the change that we can even take our card and just put it close to the thing and pay like that is relatively new.
really, that's
Yeah.
new.
Well, relatively. It's not
Relatively.
sure when it was, a year ago, 2 years at the most. We, for a very long time, we just had the input the card, take it out, and then put your
How long did it take? How long did
number
it take
in.
for you guys to finally decide on is it insert or is it swipe? It took us a while. Like
Um,
it took us a long time, my man. We had the
Depending
ability.
on the place, there's a lot of there's even devices that have both.
Ah, took us a while to
Mm-hmm.
finally come to that consensus of like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere is going to agree to do it one way or the other.
Okay.
But
No,
that,
we don't have a consensus on that.
yeah, it took us a
I think
while.
most have the insert, but I've seen quite a few that have both.
Yeah.
So that's probably also ones where you only can swipe, but yeah, since there was no real consensus there, I think in the long term it's gonna be both. Or now it's gonna be replaced just by the tap on.
Yeah.
And just
Okay.
with, I think COVID even helped with that because
Oh, COVID
that
did
was about
wonders.
that. I think that was about the time when they added that, and they also added what was it? Yeah, that you don't have to input your number up to a certain sum. That's when that got also
Yeah.
widespread.
I don't like to
Because
think.
before you had to put the number in for any sum, like even if you pay something for 25 cents, yeah, put your number in.
Yeah.
But now it can happen quite often that you don't even have to put your number in, just hold the card there and then pay,
It
done.
depends here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That depends on where you go. Cuz
Yeah, that's possible as well.
some places will make you put in the code no matter how much you
Mm-hmm.
buy. So like no matter what the
Mm-hmm.
sum is. And then some
Mm-hmm.
places if you tap, you don't have to put the code in at all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for us that's also like that because where I usually shop for food, that has a what's it called, a bakery in front of it, like in the same building, but it's a separate area. So essentially you're done with shopping the food, you come out from the cashier, and then right in front of you there's the baker, and then you go there and pay for the bread. So when I do my shopping, I pay whatever 20, 30, depending on how much I buy, and then don't have to input the number. Then I go there, buy a bread, which is 3 something, and then, yeah, input number. So it's definitely dependent on where you shop.
yeah. Okay. Cool. I learned something new about a different
Mm.
country
Yeah.
compared to fucking America. Believe it,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, we there's a lot of shit that we have that I don't think other countries really understand. Like
Mm-hmm.
like the whole touch to pay thing. That's something that we've had for a while. It's just that the
Mm-hmm.
adoption rate was like really slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now that everywhere has it, it's
Yeah.
one of those things to where it's like here
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah, I mean,
here we
big
are.
difference is also cash on hand is for you probably not even hardly a thing.
Oh god, dude, I bear dude. The only time I have cash on hand is if
Mm-hmm.
someone gives me cash,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or like I don't know, if we order out lunch at my job
Mm-hmm.
and I have to go pay my part of the bill,
Mm-hmm.
so I got to go get cash. Unless one of my friends who has an Apple phone pays the bill, then I can just
Mm-hmm.
Apple Pay her the money directly and fuck cash.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Yeah.
there's multiple ways. Like around
Mm-hmm.
here, like I think like most people don't like most places don't even really take a check for rent anymore. That's like an optional
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like these days you have so many other ways of just paying for stuff that's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like
Yeah, for you it's been like that for quite some time. For us it's still, yeah, no problem. Cash, yeah, here. That's
yeah.
that's still a daily thing.
That was something my mom was concerned about when I moved out, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have like a checkbook, like an actual physical
Mm-hmm.
checkbook. Because like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, this drove me up the fucking wall. My mom was like, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
how do you pay your bills?" I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like online, and she's like, "Okay,
Mm.
but how do you have a record of the bills that you pay?" I'm like, "Because when I pay my bill
Online.
online, I have they
I
say
have
I
it
get
in the
yeah."
from the bank. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have an invoice from them and I have
Mm-hmm.
record of it just on my bank account that I paid it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
she's like, it took my mom years to trust
Mm-hmm.
that I knew how to pay bills. I swear to God, years. Because I didn't have a checkbook. I still don't have a
Mm-hmm.
checkbook because I don't
Mm-hmm.
see the utility in having one. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if I need to pay someone, I have so many other ways. I'd just sooner just give you cash at that point. It's
Mm-hmm.
just easier than like
Yeah.
because
I
now
think for us, I'm not sure, but I think for us, checkbooks have never been that much of a thing at all.
oh my
Because
god,
we either have cash on hand or we use our bank card
yeah, no,
for
checkbooks are
payment. The
huge.
checks. Hmm.
Yeah, checks are a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Checks are a big deal.
Yeah.
It's also a matter of now if I needed a check. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say I don't know fucked myself over and got myself into a situation where I need a check. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be able to get any checks for like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, because
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to the bank,
They
order
have
a
to
book
order
of
them probably.
check, and
Mm-hmm.
then I have
Yeah,
to
and then
have
you
them
get sent
delivered,
them.
and then I'd wait like 2 fucking weeks. It wouldn't even
Mm-hmm.
be like worth the fucking time
Yeah.
to do it. You see, it's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
be thankful, be thankful.
Yeah, we kind of skipped that part.
Yeah,
I think
y'all
I,
skipped the
might
fucking
have might have been a thing before my time more, but I don't know. I've never really.
yeah. My mom
Yeah.
insists that it's impossible
Mm-hmm.
to pay your bills without
Mm.
using a checkbook.
Yeah.
She insists that it's impossible. She
Her head would
insists
probably just explode if she came over to here at some point.
it just she just doesn't understand. She's like, "How do you pay
Mm-hmm.
your?" I'm like, "Easy, mom. I just pay online. I log into my
Yeah.
account and I pay my fucking bill. It's really
Mm-hmm.
easy. I don't need a
Yeah.
checkbook, and I'm not gonna get
And
it."
for us, most bills like that, like the monthly payment for the rent, the
Oh, since we're on that,
and
is internet
mhm.
as much of a fucking fiasco for you guys as it is for us? Is there
um,
actual like competition, or is it like one or two
we
big?
do have competition usually, but it also depends on where you live. In the
Ah,
cities, there's usually competition. In the more rural areas, there's less so. But I I'm not sure how much of a comparison it is. I think because we have how many are there?
because like right now, if I wanted to
Depends.
get
We have
internet, I
usually a
have.
few.
If I
Mm-hmm.
want to get internet, I have a couple
Mm-hmm.
options. I have Spectrum, which is
Mm-hmm.
Time Warner.
Mm-hmm.
You technically have AT&T,
Mm-hmm.
technically, and
Yeah.
then depending on how much you want to roll the dice and hope that your service isn't bad, you can
Mm-hmm.
go for like Verizon, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, or some other weird 5G based fucking internet provider.
Mm-hmm.
Spectrum being the worst option. Don't I
Mm-hmm.
AT&T was the best one just because, fiber internet at like $70 a month.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really hard to say no to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really hard sell. It's even harder when Time Warner still calls me trying to get me to get my service back with them, and I'm like, cool. Can you offer me 500 down, 500 up at $70 a month? They're like, no. I'm like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'll say overall, it's in parts it's better, in parts it's worse than for you because something like that 500 down, 500 up is not that widespread over here, but
Uh,
it's getting better because the improvements in the infrastructure is ongoing. But
yeah, you.
but it has quite improved in the cities definitely because for example me I have a 1000 down 50 up, which
Mhm.
is certainly enough usually.
Yeah, that's
Obviously
plenty.
the upside is usually not that required to be really that high in your average usage scenario. Of course, if you're a content creator and all, more is always better. But yeah, it's not been that long that we had it far worse
But see,
in that regard.
that's the difference though, is that
Mm-hmm.
other countries actually give a shit about infrastructure.
Yeah.
America does not put
Mm-hmm.
as much emphasis on
Mm-hmm.
existing infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, you
Where we
know,
definitely need to catch up is mobile, in comparison even to other countries here in Europe.
really?
Because yeah, mobile is pretty bad.
No, you're kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. In the city, it's usually okay. But as soon as you go outside the cities, it goes downhill real fast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mobile internet is ugh.
Oh, shit. Well, I learn something
Mm-hmm.
new every day, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to find myself food and I'm going to get this
Mm-hmm.
podcast edited. You have yourself a good night.
Yeah. You have a good day.